All right, YouTube, got the leading edge of the flap on. I would recommend, if you have the material, build another one of these brackets. I know they say 3, I'd go with 4. Um, yeah, I mean, you don't have to have, obviously. You're looking at mine. You don't need to have 4. It's not mandatory. You definitely need to have 3. But if you got extra material, I don't know, I might build another one up. And everything. So I don't know. I'm just telling you. So yep. So I got the skin. It's not on. It's just over the flap. So now what I have to do is pull the top skin, and we'll get that one in and get it clecoed in as well. All right, YouTube. So clecoing skin to the bottom skin. Woo! It's a big piece of sheet metal, big piece of aluminum there. So what I would recommend, and I'll come down here, what worked, and I didn't have any problem. I got these 2 pieces in first. This one in first. Then I slid the skin, obviously this forward leading edge, the main skin tucks underneath it, goes underneath that skin. So I just slid it in there. I didn't care where it was positioned. Then what I did is I went on the other side. So I tagged that corner so that way I had my alignment right, because there's nothing worse than start putting pieces in and realize that your alignment's off. So then what I did is I pulled up and clecoed these top ones in, and that pulled the skin up so it was an alignment for the bottom skin. Oh, got one there. So that's what I did. Oh, I'm missing a cleco here. And then this one here pitches out. It's pretty easy. You don't have to worry about it. They tell you put a bend in it. You don't have to. It will bend itself out. And then after doing that, I proceeded to do every other one, as you guys see. Making sure, I got this one, I got lucky here. There's a tab on the other side, so you gotta make sure when you're putting that cleco in that you don't bend that tab. This one I got right. The other ones I'll just use my awl to do it. And that got everything pretty much aligned. Yeah, so I started there, worked here, came here, there's a split right here, so I stopped right here, and then I started down here and worked my way in that way. Had 0 problems, 0. So that's how I did the skins. First got the corner tag, so I got it in somewhat of alignment. Did the upper ones that pulled it up, pulled the skin up, so it aligned with these bottom ones, and then clecoed the rest of it in. So yeah, there's no reason to fight with it. So yeah. That's what I did. So now I go back and inspect. I'm going to take a flashlight. Just make sure I don't have any clecos in here, and I'm pretty sure I don't. But we need to inspect on the inside because we're going to start clecoing this down. And when we do that, you're not going to get, or not cleco, but we're going to start riveting the skins. Once you start riveting that skin, you're not going to be able to get in there and get a cleco out. So I'm just going to take a mirror, just double check, and confirm that I do not have any clecos or anything on the interior of this. And I'm positive I don't, but I'm going to check anyways. YouTube. Russell Brand is on Rumble right now. That was the alert when I started the video. All right. So, as you guys can see, or maybe you can't because I haven't shown you yet, I have the rivets in on the bottom side, the blind rivets on the bottom side of the flap. All right, so you want to hear God laugh? Tell him your plans, right? So had some issues. Let me kind of explain this to you. When you're using these let me see what these are the rivets that they want you to use, right? So normally I don't have any issues with these guys, and I didn't have any issues with these guys, except got a plane coming in. So on this part right here, let me kind of explain this to you. As you are riveting, and what we're doing is we're actually riveting this side here. Sorry, I do apologize, but hey, we're at an airport. This is what they do. So you have 2 holes on this piece here and then 1 single hole here. The problem is when you go to rivet these 2, you don't have an issue pushing this rivet, this rivet into those holes. You can actually kind of run your drill into them a little bit and kind of open them up, and it's not an issue. I think the guy knows I'm doing a video. So let's sit by the hangers and blast the hangers with yeah. So we'll just wait until he gets done. Yeah, obviously he must be blowing out his hanger or something, I don't know. So the thing is that when you're, like I said, when you're trying to rivet these guys, it's no big deal, because you have enough mass here that it's gonna stay kind of conform. But when you go to rivet this guy, when you push in, you're gonna push that tab in, and you're gonna miss that tab, or you're gonna push the rivet and it's not gonna go in the tab. The problem is twofold. Number one, when you match drill these, if I'll take you, here's the drill bit that you're supposed to match drill. If you look, the drill bit goes in there. It's not, it match drills, so that is not an issue, right? So you're gonna match drill these, and that's not an issue. It's not that the hole is too small for the drill bit, but then when you go, depending on your rivet, when you go to put this in, that there's a little ball at the end of that rivet, and it doesn't want to go into that hole. The ball is actually bigger than the rivet, right? That's the part that gets pulled back, and that's what forms the rivet head. Let me see if I can, I'm trying to think how I can show you guys this without getting all crazy. So yeah, so the ball is bigger than the hole. So you either have to do one or two things. Well, you're going to have to enlarge this hole. What I would recommend you do is enlarge this hole ever so slightly. Get your rivet that you're going to do and go ahead and get that hole ever so slightly bigger, because that definitely is not going to go through. I'm trying to show you guys that. It's just not. Now the rivet shank will, but that ball won't. And what happens is when you push on it, you push this and you don't capture that tab. So you can do one or two things. Like I said, you can go, before you even put this together, before you put them together, go through and drill out these. Make them ever so slightly bigger, and get your rivet and see if that goes through, and then that will save problem. Now, if you're like me and everything's already kind of somewhat put together, the other option you got is just go take your drill bit. If you look at that ball, these are CS 4-4s. That ball head is actually in perfect alignment with that rivet, with the shank, right? This one, maybe I just got a bad set of rivets. I don't know, but like I said, this ball is definitely larger than the shank. So it won't go through the hole. So take it, and then you get your bigger drill bit and you drill it out, and then you just, on these tabs here, you just put in 4-4s. That's what I did. You can't tell the difference between them. They look just like the ones that you're supposed to use, and they absolutely capture the this tab here, and you don't have any issues. So just a thought. So like I said, one or two things. Drill it out beforehand, test it, And make sure, or B, just put in some CS 4-4s, which is a bigger rivet. And like I said, this has no problem going through this tab. I found that these guys I'm probably going to have to do the 4-4s on this one because you're on the other side. I haven't got to that point yet, but more than likely I'm going to just drill them out. I'm not going to mess with them. I'm going to make sure they're in alignment, drill them out, and I'm going to use the CS 4-4s. It's a little bit profile, bigger rivet as far as the head goes, but like I said, when the head's in and get my fat meaty hands out of the way, you really can't tell. So I think that's going to be my option. Now, when I build my next flap, I'm going to drill these tabs out a little bit, make them a little bit bigger, and everything. And maybe you won't have the same problem I had, because maybe your rivet that you got from Vans doesn't have this large head. I wish I could show you that, but this phone just doesn't focus very well. It's trying. There it is. You can see that it's larger, and that's just enough that it will not go through that. And the problem is when you force it, there's not enough meat here, and you're going to push that tab. All right. So enough of that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Man, why is this thing not focusing? There it goes. It's having a hard time today. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you and hopefully avoid the frustration that I just went through. All right, YouTube. So we got the nose ribs all riveted in. It went without a hitch. This went a lot better than the flat side, the top side did, and everything. So those are all riveted in. Now I am riveting in all the ribs. I got a sinking suspicion, and I went through the plans and reread them 4 or 5 times, and I did not see where those are riveted. So I went ahead and riveted them. I know they got to be riveted. I think it would absolutely be easier to rivet them in before the skin went on. As you can see, I'm having to loosen up the skin so I can get the riveter in there. I'm also using this special tool. This allows you to get that rivet gun in the tight spaces. So, because the gun, you're not going to get perpendicular to the part, just because of the size here, it's going to hit. But if you can come in at an angle, which is what I'm doing, the problem is with that is that you're riveting at an angle. Well, this is that angle. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. This is exactly that angle, so that allows you to rivet at an angle. So I highly recommend that you're going to need this when you do your fuel tank. I've used it a couple times, not only on this, I'm using it here, but I also had to use it when I was doing the wings, right? To get into the space there where you have to rivet in the ribs on the wings. So you're going to need this tool. You can get it from ATS Supply, ATS. Aircraft Tool Supply. I think other vendors have it as well. So highly recommend that you get one, because you're gonna use it and you're gonna need it. So yeah, so it's been a long day. I am just gonna call it quits here today and then come back at it and hit it pretty hard. Now tomorrow, hopefully, well not hopefully, God willing, we'll get this riveted up, get the ribs riveted to the spar, and then proceed maybe. Now these rivets here are all going to be back riveted, and we talked about that. So I got to take this off and lay it on my steel plate and then back rivet these rivets in place. Now there will be some that will be bucked, like these in here will be bucked, but these rivets here will be back riveted, apparently, is what Vans is recommending. So that's what we will do. And I actually have an offset back riveter that we will use. And yeah, so we'll give it a shot see what it can do. I think some of these rivets we're going to have to still, like this guy here, I don't know how we're going to get a back riveter into there. This one you can because of the cutout, but this guy here, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now, I will tell you, using the CS's 4-4s was the way to go. If I was redoing this all over again, I would just use the 4-4s. That's my personal opinion, and the reason being is the grip, especially with those tabs. You got a lot more grip. Let me just grab one here. And what happens is a lot of those tabs get bent, or they're not exactly perpendicular. So look at how much more grip you got. It's just, to me, I was looking at the 4.4s that I did, and then these guys, which are what they call for, which is the MK319DSs. And I feel like there's more material on the back side of the part, and it's, bigger material. So to me, I think the CS 4-4s is the way to go. One of the things I did not, and I should have reminded you guys, and it wasn't until I got this part, don't forget to, when you get this part, I think I put it up. Yes, I know I put it up. When I had this out, and I didn't show this in my other videos, you got to, and I don't know if it's a reason why this is messed up. Maybe they screwed up Vans and didn't drill these out, but you're gonna have to drill. So when you mount this up in your skin, you cleco it in, you're gonna have to drill the 2 holes here. The 2 holes, there's 2 holes that got to be drilled that have to be matched. I don't know if they did that for the 50% rule. I don't know. I don't know if it was because, if you remember right, see how bent or jacked up that is. So maybe this piece, they had some production issues. I don't know. Vans is really good. This is the first time where I actually had to drill out a rib like this, and everything. But when you get your part and you're working on your flaps, make sure that you drill this out. I didn't call it out in the other videos, and I do apologize for that, but it just dawned on me when I had this one in my hand, when I was showing you why that MK wouldn't go through there. It dawned on me, and so it is what it is. That's, we're building an airplane. That's, you still got to build it right and everything, but you're building an airplane, so build it. It's got to have a hole, so put the hole in there. Wow, what a day. I'll have to say, I was thinking easy peasy on these blind rivets, these pop rivets. Man, I'd rather buck them. Well, I wouldn't rather buck those because it's almost near impossible. I mean, actually, I did it on the ailerons, where I put the nose ribs in and bucked them, and then put the spar on top of them, and then blind riveted those on top. But there's a lot more here, so I don't know. I don't know what the mindset was. One of the things I will tell you, that when I was drilling, I didn't have a long drill bit at first, and I nicked this piece here, so I had to sand that down to get that ridge. I just nicked it a little bit, put a little crease. So when you're using your tool, and what I say is, you guys know with the drill, how it spins, so the head was rubbing against that. So I had to just buff that out and sand it down. I didn't sand it, I just used my buffing wheel and just buffed it out of there. So make sure that when you're using drills around your part, that the head, if it happens to catch a part or rub against a part, make sure that you address that. It's no big deal. I mean, I'll just shoot it again with primer when I do another one. The main thing is don't have any gouges or creases or valleys in there, right? You got to buff it out. It's kind of like how you got on an airplane prop, you got a little rock nicks and stuff you got to take out. So, all right, I am starting to mumble, starting to babble. So yeah, so we got the flap mounted up. We started to rivet and with the blind rivets, and then we'll finish those up tomorrow, God willing, and then we'll come back in and start back riveting the top skin, because that is flush rivets. The other one is going to be pop rivets. Now, while I've got this open, I will absolutely check to make sure that each one of those holes will take the MKs. So yeah, you don't have to hit me twice. You don't have to hit me twice in the head for me to understand what's going on or to get with the program. So we'll get that taken care of. But like always, if you have a comment, question, concern, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I will try to answer them. Just keep it to the build of the airplane or your airplane. Let me know what you're doing on your airplane and everything. And like always, take care of yourself. Take some time, spend some time with yourself. Be it exercise or just meditation or reading or whatever it is that you enjoy doing, and then also spend some time with your family. God bless and take care.